Thousands of then Eastern Nigerians was irrespective of tribal affiliation. The bombing and other military brutalities since Biafran independence have followed the same pattern. Having suffered together, they are now united together in solidarity to fight on to victory, to assure a place of honor and respect for themselves and their children. Nothing is further from the truth. Our valiant forces have continued to keep the enemy at the few border towns and zones they have captured by treachery. The gallant Biafran forces are now in control of most of the Enugu and Boni and are gradually wiping out the enemy invaders at Qatar. They have also re-entered Ugoja. The Nigerian troops will never forget the lesson of their Onitsha invasion, where thousands of their men were decimated. Our troops are fighting bravely and will continue to do so until victory is won. The Nigerians appear not to know that by unleashing a war of aggression, in addition to several past injuries, they have aroused a whole people against them. This is a people's war for freedom. Biafra has come to stay, and the fact of our independence is irreversible. Ours is a nation of 14 million people with last man confident of eventual success.
Also is a Biafra, to come and give us some little lectures and history, please. Little lecture and history of where we come from, and that is Biafra. So we have little speech to lecture us on about where we come from. So we are calling upon Ugochukwu Oji to come and listen.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I want to use this opportunity to thank each and every one.
So
Let him speak English. Let him speak English.
And this information is going to be relayed. So I think we should appreciate that other people might want to listen to what we did here today. So like I was saying, my name is Ugochukwu Oji, and I'm here to present a speech on the occasion of the first Remembrance Day of our heroes and heroines who paid the supreme sacrifice that we may be alive today. Today, 44 years ago, an American boy, David Mayrock, burns himself to death carrying a placard on which is written, "Stop genocide, save 9 million Biafrans." May his soul continue to rest in peace. May his death not be in vain. Noted by General Emeka Odumegwu Ojukwu on the occasion of Biafran's second anniversary. Today, we all are gathered here to remember those who are like us, young, old, rich, poor, the strong, and the feeble, who we are united on one purpose, which is Biafra. On May 29, 1967, following a long, protracted political crisis, which bedeviled the Nigerian state, in a calculated attempt by the Nigerian state to whittle down the political influence of the Igbos in the governing polity of the Nigerian state, a medieval barbaric onslaught of bloodletting was unleashed on the defenseless and helpless Igbos living in northern Nigeria. While this was going on, the federal government of Nigeria, led by General Gowon, stood aloof and watched while thousands of Nigerian citizens were massacred across most of the major towns in northern Nigeria, thus failing in its duty to protect our citizens from the murderous rampage of Islamists in northern Nigeria. At the end of this onslaught, over 50,000 people of eastern Nigeria, Igbos in particular, and their cousins in the Efik, the Ibibio, the Ijos, lost their lives and properties worth millions of pounds sterling. Though many revisionist historians over the years have tried to underplay the relevance of this incident being the major catalyst for the Biafran cause. However, it is imperative that we understand that prior to the mass murder of Igbos in the north, there were never a clamor for Biafra. As a matter of fact, history has it that the one Nigerian mantra originated from the Igbos prior to independence of 1960. When the colonialists offered independence to the southwest and the southeastern regions of Nigeria separately, it is also on record that Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, an Igbo man and leader of the NCNC, rejected the offer of separate independence because the northern Nigeria wasn't ready for independence. Therefore, the Biafran cause would not be complete, will not be balanced without having a grasp of the political development pre- and post-independent Nigeria. Upon the massive killings of Igbos in northern Nigeria, the then governor of the eastern region of Nigeria, Lieutenant Colonel Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu, asked the Igbos to return home to the east, since the federal government of Nigeria could not guarantee their safety in any part of Nigeria any longer, of which they heeded the call and returned to the eastern heartland. The following month afterward became the first modern-day genocide in Africa. There appeared to be efforts by various nations, individuals, groups, to broker peace between the federal government of Nigeria and the eastern Nigerian government. These several efforts culminated in the renowned Aburi Agreement, popularly known by the Biafrans as Aburi Accord. Aburi being the name of a town in Ghana, in West Africa, where the government of Nigeria, led by Gowon, alongside the regional governors of the North, the West, the Midwest regions of Nigeria, on one side, and General Ojukwu of the Eastern Nigerian government on the other side. This Aburi meeting was the final attempt of bringing both parties on a round table towards finding a political solution to the impasse, and was hoisted at the instance of General Joseph Ankara of Ghana. After a two-day discussion in Aburi, a resolution was reached by both contending parties, after which it was signed. While the signing was going on in Ghana, information has filtered through eastern Nigeria on the fruitfulness of the discussion and thus elicited a widespread of jubilation across eastern Nigeria. This jubilation was born out of the fact that Igbos never wanted to go to war with their fellow compatriots. They preserved the most inhuman treatment, resisted the temptation to retaliate against northeastern Nigerians who were at that time residing in eastern Nigeria, and as a matter of fact, granted them safe exit from eastern Nigeria. This jubilation, however, turned to sadness. Upon his arrival to Lagos, General Gowon, rather than applying himself to the principles of the Aburi Accord, discarded the Aburi document and thus arrogated himself total executive powers, which ran contrary to the tenets of Aburi Accord. This singular incident precipitated the declaration of the Republic of Biafra by the peoples of the then eastern Nigeria. Like every other war with its highlights, the Nigerian War of Attrition against the Biafran state came to its lowest ebb when the federal government of Nigeria, in its most callous and unrestrained show of primitive and wickedness, decided to use starvation as a weapon of war against the Biafrans. The actions came after a total blockade of the territories of eastern Nigeria through the land, air, and sea, thus making it impossible to access food within Biafra. The little efforts that were made by relief agencies all over the world to bring in food items into Biafra was fraught with much risk and uncertainties, due to the fact that the federal government of Nigeria has barred the flow of relief materials into Biafran land. And to assert this decision, in June 1968, and one RCDC-7 aircraft was shot down by the Nigerian forces, killing 3 relief workers. This action by the federal government of Nigeria thus hampered the humanitarian efforts within Biafra and thus led to the death of millions of Biafran, mostly helpless children, the elderly, and women. The war ended in 1970, after which the federal government of Nigeria, receiving instruments of surrender from the Biafran forces, the federal government of Nigeria declared that the war was between brothers and declared that no victor, no vanquished, and thus initiated policies of reconciliation, reconstruction, and rehabilitation. But until today, there was no concerted effort by the Nigerian federal government to carry out the policies to the letter. It might thus interest us to know that the factors that led to the Civil War is still very much prevalent in today's Nigeria, among which is the unbridled desire for political power by the northern Nigerians to the detriment of other units of Nigeria, therefore negating the principles of equality as enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Nigeria is presently battling with the worst form of terrorism known in modern-day world. The Islamists want to have a separate state of which they will be governed by strict Sharia code. This is surely against the dictates of the secular constitution upon which Nigeria operates. While we are not against them asking for a separate state, we are, however, against the killings and the maimings of innocent and the helpless ones. Therefore, we support the agitation by the people of northern Nigeria to ask for their independence, but through constitutional means. There is therefore today international laws and charters which will give need for the actualization of the Sharia-controlled state, like the United Nations Charter on the Rights of Indigenous People. The injustice perpetrated against Biafrans since the end of the Civil War are innumerable. From 1970 till date, thousands of Biafrans have lost their lives through targeted killings meted against them in their various abodes in northern Nigeria. Biafrans has been rendered economically and politically irrelevant in Nigeria of today. Today, as we are gathered here to remember those who died during the Nigerian war against the people of Biafra, we remember them because they are the reason why we are alive today. Let us never forget who we are. We are Biafrans. Biafra is not just a country. Biafra is an ideology. And because of those who died, we stand firm today to reaffirm our desire for the full restoration of the sovereign state of Biafra. We therefore call on the international community to revisit the issue of the people of Biafra. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Biafra kwe. Biafra kwezo. Biafra kwe. Onye si na Biafra adịghị adị. Ana efie ya. Zoo nọchere anyị ụzọ. Ọ ndị m na-ahụ ụjọ n'ihu. Biko fọ ekwara ya ofe egwu Biafra ya ka let's ginger the house. Biafra.
We are moving without fear. You know, only one thing na Kamobi, ndị Hausa nwere ike ime ha cause a problem. Yoruba men ha cause a problem. But the sons of Biafra Benue are cause also na the zoo. We are not afraid of anybody. Upon I be near, unshakable and unshaken. When Biafrans speak, cold catches Nigeria. When men are talking, children doesn't talk. I want to tell you something. Biafrans are men. Boko Harams, they are children. But Biafra, we are men. When we come out, the whole country will begin to shake. The whole world will begin to ask, what is the problem of these people? Solve their problems that they will go. So, whenever I look upon our young men, it makes me to remember what happened in Kano 1993. I was very young then, but oh my God. And I see, not tomorrow go get video. I saw nothing I see go video no kita bi go video. I see na ndị Hausa na-egbu isi mmadụ because mgbe ọ na-apụta ha jide a strong man onye Nigeria eme gịnị ha nara onye ahụ ego. But anyị nwa bụ ụmụ Igbo. We that are Igbo men, when we get somebody, we don't take money from them. We take your head because your head is more important to us. But when Hausa people get an Igbo man, they require for money. That means they are nothing. That means they don't know how to make the money. That means they don't know where to get the money. They only need what we made to survive. But we are the makers of the wealth. Why they are the enjoyers of the wealth. But from today henceforth, it is not possible anymore. Whatever we struggle for, we must gain it. Whatever we sow, we shall reap it, without minding whatever it will take. Biafra is a sure land, and is mostly coming to pass. They are saying 2015. I foresee Biafra 2014, not 2015. So you that are seated here, I want you to be very, very strong and be courageous. Joshua told his son, be strong and be very courageous. We are strong, we are courageous, and we are determined to get it. And you know what? It is a done deal. When a deal is done, which means everything is settled. Before Oyibo man look at that thing they call God and give it that name God, it means that the life is already gone. So it is a done deal. Nigeria is gone. Nigeria is a history. Nigeria is a story. Now, Nigeria is not a 16. What is a 16 is the rising sun. So what is a 16? Is a promised land, the land of milk and the honey.